Now I'm going to teach you the support and resistance strategies. Now, ultimately, what this tool is going to teach you, it's going to teach you the power of buying pullbacks and selling into the pumps. Very important strategy. I feel as people, we get really sucked in the emotion and sometimes we can't control it. And again, this is why we build a system that is there to help us control those emotions and a simple method of what you need to do when the market moves in a specific direction. Now, I'm going to give you 3 different strategies. I'll give you the long-term strategy, the medium-term, and the short-term strategy as well. And it's very important for you to identify and understand each of these. So that at any point in your life, when you need to use one of them, you understand how to actually do it. It's the same concept, same method, just different time frames and different ranges, different percentages. Now, let me show you the first example, which is the long-term strategy. So if we have a look at my trading view, what it's teaching you is it's teaching you to buy on supports and to sell on resistance points. Now, the best and easiest way that you want to do this is you want to actually start off on a clean chart. You want to go straight on a brand new chart. And what you're looking at is where the price is right now. You want to go see where is the nearest low to you and where is the nearest high to you. That's how you're going to identify where's your nearest support and where's your nearest resistance. And remember, what you're ultimately doing here is you setting yourself a test. You're setting yourself a test on, I see this coin doing a specific thing right now. I want to know what direction this coin is going to move. So I'll basically put a low and a high in. Now I have a support and a resistance. Now, what the rule is we want to buy in the areas of support. Reason being is we've bounced there before, and if we bounce there before, there is a likely we can bounce there again. Now, it's quite weird that a lot of people put their buy orders in same areas. A lot of people understand this strategy as well. So you'll see how brilliantly it does respect these levels at different times. Now, this is also there in case it goes wrong. If in case it goes wrong, it gives you an early sign on when you need to start exiting your position, protect yourself, and start looking at where's the next area you can start to either buy back in or start getting ready to actually do that. So what we do here is we basically wait to see that if we come down to the low areas, I want to buy on support where I can add to my positions, or from here, we break out to the top and we break out the resistance. Now remember, anything that is either resistance and we break it needs to become support. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, if we break through this area of resistance, where it comes down here first to support, we buy in this area. Now what the purpose is we need to go through to the top area here. Now we must never be afraid to sell at resistance. Reason being is, if we break through this area and you sold, price usually likes to come back and test that previous resistance and make it a support. So ultimately it's a game of where you're putting a ceiling and you're putting a floor. Once we break one of those directions, we want to turn them into each other. And what I mean by that is, if this was resistance and we broke it, I want that to become my new support. I want it to become my new floor. And after that, I wanted to then break the next resistance again and turn it into my floor. And what this is going to teach you, it's going to teach you to sell every time we pump into a resistance, and it's going to teach you to buy on a support, which is very important. It's teaching you to not chase the green and buy on the actual pullbacks. And you want to continuously do this until we start to lose that. All of a sudden, we start to lose support. Now, if we don't hold this area as support now, and for the first time we actually drop it, it means it's no longer support. So what it's going to teach you is to always have your protection, your stop losses, and the stuff that I've been teaching you guys. You'll always keep it in these areas over here. Because if we lose that, it's no longer support, which makes it resistance again. And it means that the trend is starting to reverse and we could start to do something like this. Now, the same method that we've just learned to the upside, where every time you break a level, you want to turn it into support, break a level, turn it into support. It's the same thing if the markets go down. Now let me show you the same strategy, but in a downwards trend. Let's say we actually started off here and we bought in this area and all of a sudden we lost it. We lost support. Now, if you lose support, it becomes resistance, it becomes a new rooftop, an area where people are selling you can't get above. Now, in order to find your next levels, you got to use previous data. And the way that works is you will zoom out to the previous data of where price has been before, and you'll see how beautifully it actually respects it. So if we zoom out over here, you're basically looking for the nearest tops that were previous resistances. These were previous areas price couldn't get above, and eventually we got above it. And you want to see where is the nearest one to where we are now. And you can see that this one is a very important one over here. So what that gives you is a next support area. After that, you want to find the next one, and you basically want to mark them out. So as soon as you've gotten a clear direction of where the market's going, now you want to go mark out where are all the possible support areas. Then you can see that I can highlight at least 3 of them in this area. So if this market continues down, this is what I want to see it do. I want to see that every time we lose an area, we go to the next one, we break support, turn into resistance, break support, turn into resistance, and continue until all of a sudden it shifts. And now we see for the first time we have broken resistance. We turn into support and we turn into this. And you can then see basically how it gives you a structure on what you're actually looking for when the market's moving in either direction. Now it still sticks to the same concept that if we come down to support, you want to buy. If we go to resistance, you want to sell. If it comes to support, you want to buy. If it comes to resistance, you want to sell. So it still stays in the same thing. So ultimately what this is teaching you, it's giving you a method on when to buy and when to sell. Now let me actually show you this on a chart and put you back before Bitcoin did this big rally on how this actually would have worked and how it would have benefited you. It does take a lot of patience. It does take a strict strategy, and you have to stick to it. You have to be very disciplined with it. And I'll show you exactly why. Now, if we started in this area where we had a really big meltdown in the world, we had a really big drop off. And let's say you jumped on the computer that day and you want to see where should I buy? Like, I want to get into this market. You would have drawn your previous high, your resistance, and your previous low. Great. Then you would have seen we're here right now. So I'm getting some buys ready in case we go here. Otherwise, I need to wait till resistance is broken and I will buy support, right? So what you would have done is you would not have bought at this area because it just continued to go up. It went to resistance. You could see how beautifully it respected it. That's where if you did have anything in the market, you would have sold in this area. And then all of a sudden we broke it. And now you want to know resistance here. Where's my next resistance? So you go to the nearest high that's closest to you and you put a line there. Then you go put the next line. Remember, you start using the previous data to start matching your points. And look how beautifully it actually respected that. We broke straight through this area, turning resistance straight into support, and we went and we completely broke through the next ones. And if you see, if I used all my previous data, look how we just started to really explode through here. So what it would have taught you, it would have taught you to buy the pullback here, not chase the pump. You then would have been on this beautiful run. You would have got out in this area of resistance. You would have bought it back on support. It would have went up. You would have sold at resistance here. You would have bought back on support. You could see how the candles break it, come test, break it, come test. And then all of a sudden this would have went off. Now, this is where it sort of gets tricky when it comes to the selling areas, is when you have no more data. So if you did sell out of this area and not get the retest, right? Because you could see it was quick here and it just went completely through. You have to wait. You're not allowed to buy. The only time you ever buy is on support, which sounds quite crazy, right? But this is a beautiful, beautiful strategy for the long term because it teaches you to be patient. Look what happened after this. The market exploded. Bitcoin then did 200 to 300% after that. You're not interested. You only want to buy on support. Look at a year and a half, 2 years later. Look where the price is. Price is right back at support. So it would have taken you so much dedicated, so much discipline to not get hyped into this market. But eventually you would have got your perfect buy. And this is what it's teaching you. So I like to use this strategy on the long term to build my positions that I want to hold for the next 5 to 10 years. And every time I'm adding to positions, I'm making sure that I can add on support, because this is incredible. This would have not got you sucked into all of this, and it would have got you to be patient and wait for your support and buy in that area. Now, after this move, once we eventually know we have another key support after this, we will be ready if I want to buy some more at that area. But if we start to break up at any point now and we start to reverse our way up, we have so much more data now for resistances. We have so many different levels that we can sell and take profits, which is beautiful. So it doesn't mean that all this hard work, you didn't get the gains, you didn't get anything. You eventually got your buy. Now you can work on your take profit strategy because you have data, and you will mark all these previous levels. And the same thing, when you get to that level, you sell. If it breaks it and it retests as support, you buy. Next resistance, you sell. Retest and you buy, and it becomes this whole beautiful message. So guys, this is a disciplined strategy, but it is extremely powerful. It's going to teach you to not get sucked into your emotions. It's going to teach you to buy the red and sell the green. And if you do this consistently, you'll be very surprised how quickly this will build your portfolio.